दरिया के पानी से भीगी हुई रेत पर नक्शे कदम, थोड़े मेरे थोड़े तुम्हारे, घुटने से फटी हुई जीन्स में से झांकता है दूर तक फैला हुआ रास्ता। घुटने से फटी हुई जीन्स से झांकता है दूर तक फैला हुआ रास्ता। क्वाइट से रास्ते पर सुनाई देता है कावासाकी का कलशोर। क्वाइट से रास्ते पर सुनाई देता है कावासाकी का कलशोर और थोड़ी सी बज और भुनभुनाना, थोड़ी सी बज और भुनभुनाना। फिर दिखाई देता है टाइट क्लोजअप में बाइक पे मुझसे लिपट कर बैठी हुई तू।
सातौरा चंदू नहीं है, चंदू के रंग चारों ओर बिखरे हुए हैं। तो मेघधनुष के रंग है पर मेघधनुष की जान। मैं बहुत बार ऐसे सोचता हूँ कि एक बटरफ्लाई के ऊपर, बटरफ्लाई को देखते हैं ना तो बहुत सारे कलर दिखते हैं, उनको डाइसेक्ट करते हैं ना तो कौन से कलर है ना वो भी पता चल जाता है। पर वो डाइसेक्ट किए हुए कलर है ना वो बटरफ्लाई की सुंदरता कभी नहीं ला सकते। शायद चंदू है ना वो हमारा वो बटरफ्लाई था जिसकी खुद की पर्सनालिटी मेघधनुषी थी। उसमें कवि था, उसमें कलाकार था, उसमें एक प्रेजेंटर था, उसमें एक एक्टर था, पर सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट उसके अंदर एक मोटिवेटर था, एक आम आदमी था, एक सीधा साधा इंसान जो तुम्हारे और मेरे साथ हमारे लेवल पे आके बात कर सके।
Welcome to Indian News. We have 3 special guests today: Isani Shah, Papi Charnalia, and Pulkit Shah. 3 of them are here today to celebrate life of New England and famous Gujarati poet Chandu Shah. A collection of his work is being published. It is already published and here it is. And the launch ceremony of this book is going to happen this coming Sunday. We are going to talk to Isani, his wife, regarding all the logistics and publishing of the book. Papi Charnalia is going to talk about the poetry ecosystem which Chandu has helped create in New England for poetry in Gujarati, Hindi, English. Pulkit Shah will talk about Chandu Shah's life and his relationship with him, growing together, working together, and creating Meghdhanush group, which focuses on Gujarati poetry in New England. Isani, welcome and thank you very much for your time.
Thank you for giving us the opportunity.
Absolutely. And I must say again that Chandu Bhai, I really miss him a lot. I often think about my, conversations with him about poetry and romance and love. He will just call me randomly and we'll start chatting. So I personally miss him a lot, and I'm glad that you have come up with this collection of his work. It is all in Gujarati?
Yes.
Excellent. So tell us about the logistics. What is going to happen when the book is being launched here in Boston?
So basically, just taking a step back, as after he passed away in November, in December, I kind of had this vision that one of the first things I wanted to do for Chandu is publish his unpublished work. As you know, in 1992, he published a book called Ane Thoda Sapna, which had about 60, 70, 80 poetries. Then he launched the ever-famous Blue Jeans, which has become a worldwide thing where, he...
Which is very popular, and we are going to ask a Papi to talk about
yes.
that.
So just kind of not so much talking about the book, but these were the book, one in 1990s, one in 2000, and then since then, in last 15 years, he wrote a lot. It got published in different magazines, but it never got published in form of a book. So my intent was to kind of, bring back those memories, because those 2 books, as you know, got out of print. So publisher Zen Opus, they are based in Ahmedabad, very kind of state-of-art publishers. So what I did was in December, sat through all his work, whatever was written in his handwriting, I packed everything, took it to India. with somebody's help.
So
they're
how
sorted.
did you find his all those handwritten?
So kya tha, there were like 10 boxes. And then there were so many folders, this, that. So I actually throughout December, every single day,
You pick a box.
I would pick a box, take a folder, sit in front of TV, do a me time and go through his work. Of course, that sort of was a bit of a therapy for me, reading his work, looking at his handwriting and sort of, and then I just packed everything that was written in his handwriting.
Did you come across any love letters or something there?
Actually, I have my own love letters that I have stored for the last 40 years.
Okay.
But in talking about letters, one of the unpublished work is his 1520 love letters that he's written, you know. So that is the portion. There are quite a few poetries on love and letters. Obviously, these days nobody writes letters. It's email or WhatsApp. So it's kind of still those, old time things, like you said, romance.
Sure.
That still excites you. But anyway, making a long story short, I took the work. I hired somebody in India who helped me sort everything. So then we made parts that, okay, this is his first book, this is his second book, and then this work is not published anywhere. And that's how we came together. As I mentioned, Zen Opus. It was referred to me, so I met the owner there, the publishing company head, and he said, don't worry, Ishani, we'll take care of it. Just as I was saying that on Wednesday, which is 24th of July, is Chandu's birthday. So the intent was to really make this book a birthday gift for him. And so last week in New York, we had a soft launch with Gujaratis in New York. The book is actually now launched online, so one can find the book. But Boston being his hometown, it's not so much a launch of a book, but more in Gujarati, call it Lokarpan. So book is launched and now we want to kind of present it to the public. And that's what will happen on the 28th, is that, we are kind of going to have people talk about Chandu, present his book, that here is a book, what's in the book. And then, as I mentioned, he had written a lot of musicals, so we're going to sing a few songs from his musicals. Then, and a few people are going to read his unpublished poetry. And so it's kind of a celebration of his life and just letting people know that his book is out there. And whoever, it's a collector's edition because other books are not available. And that's what is going to happen. Yes, the books will be available there to buy. Whoever wants to buy them, they'll be available. And just in short, right after the launch, there is a program by a very popular Gujarati poet called Shobit Desai, who's been Chandu's friend, and they've traveled America a lot together. So Shobit is going to present a small kind of, poetry on other poets who wrote similar to Chandu. So just, so it's kind of full 2-hour program where the first hour we'll celebrate Chandu. And then the next hour, Shobit will be, presenting a journey of other poets similar to Chandu.
Papi, welcome to our studio.
Thank you.
And I know you yourself are a poet and an artist, and you have worked very closely with Chandu. So if you can talk a little bit about how Chandu was able to create this ecosystem in the New England where this poetry grew up. And you can start anywhere you want to start.
Absolutely. I will start with my own story. That's, I think, where I can be most honest. I'm an autism mom and I was drowning when my son's diagnosis came. And I happened to meet Chandubai at the Harvard Poetry Recital, Sapne as we call it. And he approached me and I said a very small poem about environment or something. And he approached me later and he said, have you compiled your works? And I said, no, that did not occur to me. I said, why is that important? He said, because you have to capture a chapter of your life in written. It's very important for yourself, not for others. And then you capture that, you shut it down. And then the next chapter you capture in another book. And those words literally altered my life, not only as a poet, but as an artist. Because I realized that if he's asking me to capture my life in word format, why not I do the same thing on canvas? So the domino effect of that conversation is far-reaching. Later on, I learned I'm not the only one he's done that for. he has done that for many young poets in our community, both Hindi, actually many languages, Odia, English, Urdu, Hindi, etc.
So now, was your book published before you met him, your first book?
No.
So it started after?
Yes,
Okay.
my complete credit to Chandubai and a few others who supported me in the community. But my book credit entirely goes to Chandubai. This book would not exist if Chandubai hadn't said and hadn't helped me later on as well. He helped me with the publisher, designing, all of that. So it's not just like he said something and walked away. And as I said, I learned that in this community and beyond, there is a lot of people he has done that for, which is incredible for an established poet. And now I've navigated the world of poetry a lot since. For an established poet to feel no insecurity and offer up his experience and his knowledge to other young poets and have them go as far or beyond, that's amazing. That's incredible.
So in the context of, like, as you were saying, the echo chamber for the poetry, so Sapne was one which he was involved, right?
Yes.
And tell us about Sapne, like what?
So Sapne is essentially a group of poets who come together reciting in many, many different languages, primarily Indian languages, but also English. And Chandubai was instrumental in the logistics of that group, bringing poets together, never discouraging a language, even Sanskrit. There were Sanskrit poets reciting in that. So he's been a key member of that organization. It was not started by Chandubai, but it is definitely, he spearheaded a lot of the initiatives of Sapne. And they meet once a year, and there's other events as well. But the major event of recital at Harvard, the Southeast Asian Studies Institute at Harvard, that happens once a year. And Chandubai was instrumental in that.
And you mentioned that he also became some sort of a mentor for the younger poets. How that happened, and how he played that role there?
It's an excellent question. So I would say that it's one thing to just go ahead. I would go to young artists and I can say, hey, paint. It's another thing to tell the artist what paint to buy, what is a good canvas, how technically to execute certain things. That's what Chandubai was doing for poets across the board. He was not only just, saying things, but he was actually helping with publishers. How do you design your book? So publishing a book is like birthing a baby. Mine took 9 months, literally. So it's painful. Even though your poetry is all ready, but it's painful to get it out there. So he was incredible in how do you put the design together? Even if you have ideas, how do you execute this? Who do you approach? What's the cost? Is there any cost? What's the cut the publisher takes? Or should you do it in India or here? These are things that a writer doesn't know, or how to promote your book. It's not just enough to launch it, but to promote it. So he was unbelievable. And I know Gujarati poets where he has done the same thing for them. So that's incredible.
And so now, what are, like today, I think it's in November, it will mark 1 year of him passing away. And I still remember attending his funeral. It's amazing, how many people came there.
Yes.
So it's says a lot about him. But what is the one thing you miss about Chandu?
I'm going to try not to cry here.
Okay, sure.
I miss him because he was such a wonderful, good person. It was not because he was a poet or an artist. That was just the bonus. The one thing I miss physically every day is that when I would recite or when he recited, we would catch on to these words that each other said. Like I said, humble. Like I added a Hindi expression to an English word. And he caught on to that after the recital. And he's like, aise kaun likhta hai, Poppy? Humble. I had analyzed people who call themselves humble, but that is all.
So what is humble? Or like the people who call themselves humble? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, that's very clever. Yeah.
And in a very long recital, it's a Hindi Manch Sahitya program. He caught on to that word, and I would do the same. I would listen to Blue Jeans, and I was like, oh my God, like it's amazing how he incorporates English words into Hindi, makes it contemporary. And I really want to say this, that in 2010, if you read his poetry, it was contemporary. In 2024, if you read his poetry, it's still contemporary, which means it's timeless contemporary.
No,
so I want to come up with this term for Chandubai's poetry, timeless contemporary. That's how he wrote.
Now, I'm glad you mentioned about Blue Jeans, because almost everybody talks about
Yes.
his poetry, Blue Jeans.
You have one on right now.
So I already have. This is my favorite. The blue
Yes.
jeans, white shirt, jacket. That's
Yes.
and maybe tennis shoes.
Yes.
So I'm really, if you can recite from Blue Jeans, that would be great.
Absolutely. So I had the great fortune to translate 2 of his poems, Rear View and Blue Jeans, into Hindi. And I loved our discussions through the translation. Gujarati is not my primary language. So there was a lot of back and forth. And I wanted to not take away his rhythm. He wrote rhythmically. So I'm going to read this portion that I think I did justice to. And if I didn't, Chandubai, forgive me.
Okay.
दरिया के पानी से भीगी हुई रेत पर, दरिया के पानी से भीगी हुई रेत पर नक्शे कदम थोड़े मेरे और थोड़े तुम्हारे। दरिया के पानी से भीगी हुई रेत पर नक्शे कदम थोड़े मेरे थोड़े तुम्हारे। घुटने से फटी हुई जीन्स में से झांकता है दूर तक फैला हुआ रास्ता। घुटने से फटी हुई जीन्स से झांकता है दूर तक फैला हुआ रास्ता। क्वाइट से रास्ते पर सुनाई देता है कावासाकी का कलशोर। देखिए कितना खूबसूरत लिखा है, कावासाकी का कलशोर। मैंने ऐसा एक्सप्रेशन सुना ही नहीं कभी किसी भी लैंग्वेज में। क्वाइट से रास्ते पर सुनाई देता है कावासाकी का कलशोर और थोड़ी सी बज और भुनभुनाना। फिर दिखाई देता है टाइट क्लोजअप में बाइक पे मुझसे लिपट कर बैठी हुई तू। फिर दिखाई देती है टाइट क्लोजअप में बाइक पर मुझसे लिपट कर बैठी हुई तू। फिर ये मेरी फेवरेट लाइन है, मैं इसको कहना चाहती हूँ। फिर 120 की स्पीड से तेरा मुझ में समा जाना और मेरा तुझ में उलझ जाना। फिर 120 की स्पीड पे तेरा मुझ में समा जाना और मेरा तुझ में उलझ जाना। गजब। See, contemporary, timeless poetry.
Yeah.
Amazing.
I had never thought, that with taking a jeans and the bike and speed and togetherness, all coming together is just a...
And I haven't even read all of it. He talks about the pocket, what he finds in it, and how that relates to an old relationship, life. It's amazing how he has written.
As you were reciting, you mentioned the bike. So I was thinking, is it a real... the regular bike or more bike, but when you said 120 miles, then I thought, this is what, so you just,
you can visualize, it's a painting.
You can visualize that painting. You said you have translated his other poem.
Rear View, I have translated. I don't have that on me right now.
But do you have some sort of content of that thing you can talk about?
So he actually talks about, in the Rear View, life in America for an immigrant when they come here, how everything alters from what you see on your refrigerator in India, the little things you stick on the fridge, to what you see in America. How you pick up garbage here, and it's so different from where you came from. It's like this detailed account of everything that changes about you. But you're thinking these things are changing externally, but it's actually altering you somewhat, rewiring you internally. And that's what the poem is about, and it's amazing. And it's like an epic. It's like Mahabharata. It's like a long poem.
That's what, as you were reciting all these little details, and I'm just, suddenly the Guljar was flashing back in my head. The strength of Guljar is also that छोटी-छोटी बारीकियों को लेके just he
उनको जीना फिर लिखना
फिर लिखना उसको. So it's excellent. Now you said that you were not very familiar with the Gujarati language, right?
Yes.
So how the Gujarati figured between you and Chandu?
So I lived in Gandhinagar for 4 years for school, and I was speaking Gujarati at the time. Not very good Gujarati, but to get by. So I still understand. My receptive language is very good. Expressive has disappeared. So if he spoke in Gujarati, no problem. I understand that.
Okay.
To come back to speak it is hard for me, but the connection was there. I can still understand most of it.
And now what do you think of, since you already understand a bit of Gujarati, the collection, his work collection?
I think it's amazing. Again, I will go back to the contemporary timelessness. It's incredible. He doesn't just write as all the 1,000 other poets you read. There is a freshness to his vocabulary and how he strings it together, along with a depth of feeling. See, there is this whole argument in the world of poetry about, Is feeling more important or expression? I think the feeling is more important, and then if it's expressed like this, wow, then we create a Chandubai.
And your last word on Chandu
My last word,
for the interview.
a lot of respect for Chandubai. Chandubai, I know energy never dies, so you're out there somewhere watching and listening. My pranam to you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
And I'm so glad you recited Blue Jeans. That I'm really just absolutely fan. And your recital was fantastic.
Thank you.
Pulkit, welcome to our studio.
Thank you very much, Shaji. It's a
And-
pleasure.
Sure. And now, as you know, I was talking earlier with Papi and Ishani. We all miss Chandu, and
Absolutely.
a great writer, great poet, and great human being. Now, you have worked with him very closely on this Gujarati poetry group, Megh Dhanush. And so you know him, you have been a big fan of him before meeting him. So if you can just talk about your experience with Chandu, how it was, talk a little bit about his poetry. Since you also write a poetry, right?
I do.
Okay, so just, with a poet talking to poet, how do you look at Chandu?
वैसे चंदूबाई को मैं उन दिनों मिला था जिन दिनों मुझे चंदूबाई के बारे में कुछ भी पता नहीं था. In Gujarati, we all love music, we all love songs, but it's very difficult to imagine a play जो खाली म्यूजिक पे बना हो, जिसमें खाली कविताएं हो. और एक गुजराती प्ले था खेलैया. मैं उन दिनों, मेरी भी शुरुआत के दिन थे, जवानी के दिन थे, और सुना था कि कोई 24, 25, 26 साल के लड़के ने ये सारे गाने लिखे थे, और वो प्ले के बारे में, गुजराती प्ले के बारे में कॉलेज में बातें होती थी. वो प्ले देखा तो समझा कि शायद जिसने भी वो लिखा था, जो भी चंदू शाह था, उसमें वो ताकत थी कि वो हमें वो प्ले का पार्ट बना सके. We actually experienced the play. I don't ever think I saw the play. I experienced the play. And instantly I knew कि I liked Kavita way more than what I liked before. Cut to 2000 when I was about to come to US. मेरे एक दोस्त के पास हितेन आनंदपरा जो इमेज पब्लिकेशन में सुरेश भाई के साथ काम करते थे, और इमेज पब्लिकेशन इज द बिगेस्ट पब्लिकेशन हाउस इन गुजराती. सुरेश जलाल वाज लाइक सुभाष गाय of Gujarati Sahitya, a biggest showman that Gujarati had seen till that point. I had gone to Hiten's office, basically Suresh Bhai's office at the Image Publication, और ऐसे ही सुरेश भाई से बात कर रहे थे. We knew each other for a while, and सुरेश भाई ने पूछा कि कहाँ जा रहे हो? I'm like, Boston. And the first word that came out of his mouth, instantaneously, अरे चंदू ना गामा. And then all of a sudden, all the memories rushed back. I was very excited about my career in Boston, but I was equally excited about meeting this guy Chandu Shah, who made me to fall in love with poetry. US आया, उसके पहले बहुत सारे प्रोग्राम्स किए थे, टीवी पे, रेडियो पे. कला गुर्जरी का मैं को-फाउंडर था मुंबई ब्रांच का. बहुत सारे शोज किए थे. Somewhere in the back of my mind, that 24, 26-year-old kid who had written those poems were there. तो शायद वो उंगली पकड़ के उसने वो कविता के फिल्म में शायद मुझे लेके आया था. उन्हें शायद पता नहीं था उस वक्त, और मुझे भी नहीं. पर that is how we started. Once I came to US, I am more spiritual. मैं मैंने 96 में तय किया था कि मैं पोएट्रीज अभी प्रेजेंट नहीं करूंगा. मैं लिखता था, पर मैंने प्रेजेंट करना 96 में बंद कर दिया था. 96 में तय किया था कि अभी एटलीस्ट कुछ सालों तक मैं खाली जैनिज्म पे ही बोलूंगा. यहाँ आया, स्वाध्याय करवाता था, जैनिज्म पढ़ाता था, सिखाता था. और सिजल कोठारी हमारी एक दोस्त है जिन्होंने एक कविता की बुक लिखी थी, प्रतीति. सिजल को वो बुक का विमोचन करना था. सिजल मेरी दोस्त है, मेरे पास आई थी. मैंने उससे बोला कि बॉस्टन में चंदू से अच्छा कोई इंसान में सोच नहीं सकता इसका इनॉग्रेशन करने के लिए. हम लोग चंदू भाई को मिले, और सिजल की वो बुक का विमोचन का जो शो हुआ, जो कवि सम्मेलन हुआ, उसमें चंदू ने अपनी कविताएं रजू की। और मिश्रा जी, मैं आपको बता सकता हूं कि चंदूबाई को सुनना, चंदूबाई की कविताएं मैंने पढ़ी थी, उनकी ब्लू जीन्स भी पढ़ी थी और उनकी 16वें साल की कन्या के बारे में की कल्पनाएं भी पढ़ी थी, पर चंदूबाई के मुंह से उनको सुनना, उनकी लिखने की जो भाषा थी ना, बोलचाल की भाषा थी। कुछ भी उसमें ऐसा नहीं था, कोई आडंबर नहीं, कोई वैभव नहीं, कोई ऐसा नहीं, भार नहीं था शब्दों का। और वो बोलचाल की भाषा जब चंदूबाई के मुंह से पहली बार सुनी सेजल के वो प्रतीति के प्रोग्राम में, तो अचानक लगा कि वो सीधे साधे शब्द है ना, उनकी जबान पे आके नाचने लगते थे। वो सीधे साधे शब्द है ना, वो एक चित्र खड़ा कर देते थे मेरे सामने। कुछ तो something was mesmerizing, something was magical about the whole experience. I think चंदू की जबान पे वो शब्द खाली शब्द नहीं रहते थे, वो एक चित्र बन जाते थे, एक शिल्प बन जाते थे, एक कला बन जाते थे। हमारी जिंदगी का अनुभव और पीछे चली जाती हुई जिंदगी को देखने का एक नया नजरिया जो चंदूबाई दे सकते थे। जब चंदूबाई बोलते थे ना, तो कहीं छाती पे लगता था, कहीं लगता था कि कुछ पीछे छूट रहा है जो मैं देख नहीं पा रहा हूं। और शायद यही चंदूबाई की ताकत थी, वो कविताओं को कागज से बाहर निकाल के, शब्दों से बाहर निकाल के अनुभूति की दुनिया में लेके आते थे। और ये चंदूबाई की सबसे बड़ी ताकत थी। और शायद यही चंदूबाई की ताकत और यही उनका जो करिश्मा था, वो करिश्मा ने एक और चीज किया। हम लोग एक बार बैठे थे, मैं, चंदूबाई और सेजल की इच्छा थी कि हम लोग कोई ऑर्गेनाइजेशन चालू करें। और चंदूबाई, जनरली बिकॉज मैं यहाँ पे स्वाध्याय करवाता हूँ, जैनिज्म पढ़ाता हूँ, सिखाता हूँ, तो लोग मुझे तू कहने वाले लोग बहुत कम है। और चंदूबाई ने वहां पे मुझे टपली मार के बोला था कि हवे तू कविता बोलिश। एंड गेस व्हाट, आई डिडंट नो एग्जैक्टली हाउ, क्योंकि मुझे पहले भी बहुत सारे लोगों ने बोला था कि कविता है तुम्हारी रजू करो, और मैंने कभी नहीं की। पर चंदूबाई की तू और वो टपली में शायद इतनी ताकत थी कि उसके बाद मैंने प्रोग्राम्स किए। खाली यही नहीं, मैंने इंडिया में भी प्रोग्राम्स किए। मेरे पास चंदू के लिए कोई वर्ड्स नहीं है, मतलब वो खाली कवि नहीं था, वो खाली कागज पे नहीं लिखता था, वो कहीं हमारे अंदर भी लिखता था, कुछ ऐसा लिखता था जो हमें कुछ बदल जाए। मेघधनुष की शुरुआत हुई 4 साल पहले चंदू शाह के साथ, और आज चंदू नहीं है। चंदू के रंग चारों ओर बिखरे हुए हैं, तो मेघधनुष के रंग है, पर मेघधनुष की जान। मैं बहुत बार ऐसे सोचता हूँ कि एक बटरफ्लाई के ऊपर, बटरफ्लाई को देखते हैं ना, तो बहुत सारे कलर दिखते हैं। उनको डाइसेक्ट करते हैं ना, तो कौन से कलर है ना, वो भी पता चल जाता है। पर वो डाइसेक्ट किए हुए कलर है ना, वो बटरफ्लाई की सुंदरता कभी नहीं ला सकते। शायद चंदू है ना, वो हमारा वो बटरफ्लाई था जिसकी खुद की पर्सनालिटी मेघधनुषी थी। उसमें कवि था, उसमें कलाकार था, उसमें एक प्रेजेंटर था, उसमें एक एक्टर था, पर सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट उसके अंदर एक मोटिवेटर था, एक आम आदमी था, एक सीधा साधा इंसान जो तुम्हारे और मेरे साथ हमारे लेवल पे आके बात कर सके। और सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट, चंदू शाह, चंदू था। उसके ईमेल क्या था पता है? चंदू 420। और वो 420 था, वो चोरी कर सकता था, वो हमारे ख्याल चोरी कर सकता था। मैंने बोला कॉलेज में जब था तो नींदे भी चोरी करता था, और उसकी वो 420 ने जो पीछे रंग छोड़ा है। न मेरे पास कोई शब्द है, न मेरे पास कहने की कोई ताकत, सिर्फ इतना बता सकता हूँ कि चंदू शाह सिर्फ चंदू शाह था।
So I encourage, to all those who kind of been with Chandu in their poetry journey in last whatever years, please do come and, just be there for Chandu's celebrations. It's in Reading High School and starting 4:30 on Sunday the 28th.